All right, guys, let's dive into something seriously crazy. We've got a massive legal scandal involving The View's co-host, Sunny Hostin's husband, Dr.
The View co-host Sunny Hostin's husband, Emmanuel Hostin, has been accused of federal insurance fraud. According to a new lawsuit obtained by Page Six, the orthopedic surgeon was one of 200 defendants named in one of the biggest racketeer influence and corrupt organization cases ever filed in New York. Emmanuel was accused of federal insurance fraud and, quote, getting kickbacks by performing surgery and billing a company that insured taxi companies and Uber and Lyft drivers. According to the documents, he knowingly provided fraudulent medical and other healthcare services, including arthroscopic surgeries. The insurance firm, American Transit, was then billed in exchange for kickbacks and other compensation, which were disguised as dividends or other cash distributions. Emmanuel denied the allegations via a statement through his lawyer, telling Daily Mail that his client, quote, denies each and every allegation and that the lawsuit is a blanket, scattershot, meritless lawsuit by a near-bankrupt insurance carrier.
Emmanuel Hostin. Like, brace yourselves because this one is honestly a wild ride. Dr. Hostin, a respected orthopedic surgeon, is tangled up in the largest RICO case New York has seen. Yeah, I'm talking about insurance fraud on an epic scale. It's literally grabbing headlines everywhere, and we've got to talk about it. Right from the bat, the news hit us like a freight train. Dr. Emmanuel Hostin has been named among nearly 200 defendants in a mammoth federal insurance fraud lawsuit.
The View co-host Sunny Hostin's surgeon husband, Emmanuel, accused of insurance fraud in bombshell lawsuit. Then we go down and say, the longtime husband of The View co-host Sunny Hostin is starting the new year under a cloud after being accused of federal insurance fraud. Orthopedic surgeon Dr. Emmanuel Manny Hostin, which is Sunny Hostin's husband, is among nearly 200 defendants named in one of the largest RICO cases ever filed in New York.
This is coming straight from the Daily Mail. And yes, it's plastered all over every news outlet you can think of. We're talking about kickbacks, fraudulent surgeries, and billing scams involving taxi and rideshare insurance companies like Uber and Lyft.
He and many of the others are accused of getting kickbacks by performing surgery and fraudulently billing a company that insures taxi companies and Uber and Lyft drivers. Like, this is bad.
It's seriously one of the biggest legal scandals we've seen in a while. So let's rewind for a bit. Emmanuel Hostin, alongside others, is accused of what's essentially a massive healthcare hustle. The lawsuit alleges he performed unnecessary surgeries and raked in millions through fraudulent medical procedures.
I agree with mostly everything that's been said. I mean, we know that, only about 31% of Americans trust our healthcare system. We have a terrible healthcare system. And, doctors suffer because of big corporations as well. Doctors that want to do good, like my husband, operates on someone even though they don't have insurance and then has to sue health insurance companies to get paid for the work that he's been trained his whole life to like.
And let's not forget, these weren't just any old patients. This scheme targeted taxi and rideshare drivers, folks whose livelihood depends on their ability to work without injury setbacks, I guess what really amps up the drama here is the irony. Sunny Hostin is known for her fierce public opinions, especially on political and social issues. Just the other day, she stirred the pot with a controversial statement comparing the events of January 6th to historical atrocities. And then, bam, news breaks about her husband being embroiled in this scandal. It kind of puts things in a different perspective, doesn't it?
If he gets convicted, every single convicted felon in this country should be able to vote.
Well, you think there should also be some soul searching on the Republican side who need to analyze why they would nominate a convicted felon who ran on lies, threats of retribution, and concept.
Okay, so here's where things get even murkier. Hostin's legal team was quick to call the lawsuit a blanket scattershot meritless lawsuit, thrown by a financially struggling insurance firm looking to dodge its own debts. To be fair, that's a pretty bold claim, right? The legal team insists that Hostin has maintained an impeccable record and suggests this lawsuit is more about intimidating doctors than fighting fraud. But, well, with the stakes this high, everyone's going to be closely watching how this unfolds. Meanwhile, images of Hostin's family are circulating, adding a personal touch to this whirlwind of scandal. Imagine living in a stunning 10-bedroom estate in Purchase, New York, thinking life is grand, only to have such a storm brewing in the background. It's like practically movie script material, don't you think? The timeline of events is crucial here, guys. Dr. Hostin was licensed to practice medicine in New York since 2002, which means we're looking at 2 decades of practice suddenly brought into question. Apparently, the lawsuits highlight that he performed procedures arbitrarily without assessing if more conservative treatments would suffice. This isn't just a financial issue, it's also a matter of patient trust and healthcare ethics. Now, let's talk about the wider implications. If true, these allegations not only affect Hostin, but could also shake the healthcare community and insurance industry.
I agree with mostly everything that's been said. We know that, only about 31% of Americans trust our healthcare system. We have a terrible healthcare system. And, doctors suffer because of big corporations as well. Doctors that want to do good, like my husband, operates on someone even though they don't have insurance and then has to sue health insurance companies to get paid for the work that he's been...
It raises questions about the structures that allow such fraud, potentially affecting policies that secure compensation for victims. And let's face it, this might just lead to significant policy changes aimed at preventing future occurrences. Sunny Hostin is no stranger to controversy herself, often voicing strong opinions on The View. However, this time the limelight follows her home, which is a completely different ballgame. She's had no public comments on her husband's case yet, but we can only imagine the stress this brings into their personal lives. And with 2 kids, keeping family life steady amidst such chaos is surely another layer of complexity they're dealing with. Moreover, one can't help but delve into the political ramifications. Sunny's strong stances make her a lightning rod for both support and criticism. Her husband's legal troubles could potentially dim her voice in public debates or, alternatively, strengthen her resolve if she chooses to use this experience to champion reform if they believe in his innocence. Interestingly, this isn't just a local story anymore. It's turned into national, even international headlines. Switching on the news, jumping onto social media, this story is spreading like wildfire. It totally makes you wonder how public figures handle such personal crises in the public eye. As this legal battle escalates, we, along with millions of others, are on the lookout for Sunny's next move. Will she continue her fearless commentary on her show, or take a step back to focus on family and legal matters? Here's the thing, folks. What's truly interesting about incidences like these isn't just the headlines they create, it's the conversations they ignite about our systems. Healthcare, legality, media responsibility, they all tie together, painting a picture far bigger than a single lawsuit. Is our healthcare system so broken that even well-respected professionals are driven to such drastic measures? Are there systemic faults that need addressing to prevent these alleged abuses? Honestly, whether Dr. Hostin is exonerated or found guilty, this case is going to be discussed in classrooms, courtrooms, and online forums for years. It's bound to be a precedent-setting case that might just lead us towards critical quality assessments and potentially reshape some parts of the healthcare legislation, with insurance companies looking to tighten the reins. To recapitulate, what we're seeing here isn't just a scandal, but rather a complex tapestry interweaving legal, ethical, and social threads. Regardless of where you stand on this issue, one thing's for sure: we're witnessing a significant moment in law and media history. Ultimately, it leaves us with so many questions, What's the true extent of Dr. Hostin's involvement? Could these allegations be, as veterans in the field insist, totally misguided? And what does this mean for Sunny Hostin's career? Only time and a whole lot of legal unraveling will tell.
Wait, hold on. Let Sunny get in here.
I agree with mostly everything that's been said. We know that, only about 31% of Americans trust our healthcare system. We have a terrible healthcare system. And, doctors suffer because of big corporations as well. Doctors that want to do good, like my husband, operates on someone even though they don't have insurance and then has to sue health insurance companies to get paid for the work that he's been trained his whole life to do. So there are a lot of problems with it. But the notion that we are in a violent country, this country was built on violence. We're a very violent country. And it's just undeniable that that's the case. And so I'm not, unfortunately, surprised that people are celebrating the use of violence. I'm not surprised that this young man thought that change could be accomplished through violence.
So, there you have it, everyone. A monumental tale wrapped in shock, skepticism, and an ever-growing public intrigue. Seriously, drop your thoughts in the comments. I'm totally intrigued by what everyone thinks about this wild saga, and as expected, we'll be right here, riding the wave as it all unfolds. Until then, keep your eyes peeled on this case, because trust me, this story's far from over.